virus isn't alive, people. It's non-metabolizing. And look at it. I mean, either it's single-stranded or double-stranded RNA or DNA. And it just happens to have the perfect vector for infection, a protein capsid that just bonds to the cell receptor, and then it penetrates and injects its genetic material. And it's like a program, because a virus can't hurt you by itself. It can't reproduce by itself. It's not alive. Your enzymes have to read it and create what it tells you to create. If they don't do that, it can't hurt you. It's nanotechnology. See, a microbiology student would be like, well, our professor says that viruses come from the rainforest often because it has a similar temperature to a human's body temperature. Yeah, okay. Come on, people, it's technology, all right? There's no reason for a virus to exist in nature. Think about it. What are the odds of that? That you'd have the correct codons to be a viable fragment of DNA or RNA, and a delivery vector, protein capsid around it? Come on. And look at HIV. With AIDS, you get in your immune system, for your white blood cells anyway, you have a system. You have different types of white blood cells. Most of you don't care about this, but in case there's those physiology students out there that need to hear the technical stuff, because I won't be qualified to you unless I know what you know. Yes, I know what those are, the eosinophils, basophils, neutrophils, okay, and then you've got your monomorphs, and those are the T and Bs, and the monocytes, which you call a macrophage when it's in the body because it's mobile. The macrophage is kind of like the cop, all right? It's always going around your body sampling stuff, looking for anything that it would consider to be an antigen or something that it sees as foreign to the body. So if it finds something like a bacteria that's foreign, that's infective, it will engulf it. That's why they call it a phagocytical cell, P-H-A-G-O. Phag means to engulf, to eat. Cyte means, well, cell. So it's a phagocyte. So it will engulf it and then display its material, the contents of the bacteria, on its cell wall. Then it takes a little trip into, say, a lymph node. There you have many white blood cells already there. In fact, you're born with, I guess, up to like 500,000 different types of combinations already there to handle infections. Like, you're already pre-programmed to fight off up to 500,000 different potential infecting agents, right? But it's very generic, so if something new comes into your body, what happens is this macrophage will go in there and say, hey, you know, look what I got. Of course, no, it's not speaking English, all right? I'm just being metaphorical. It goes in there and says, look, anybody here know what this is? Anybody, can you handle it? So eventually maybe this macrophage encounters a white blood cell that says, hey, wait, I kind of have something that can deal with that. That's pretty similar to how I'm made. Here, just give me a moment. Let me change a few things up. They call this genetic recombination. So it changes its genetic sequencing a little bit so that it can effectively go after the infection. Once it's done, and once it's changed itself to be correct, and so that it can handle it, it divides and puts clones of itself dormant. They call those memory cells, and that's your immunity, in case that pathogen comes back to the body again. So you don't have to go through this whole process. But when it's identified and says, okay, I'm the one to take care of it, then it will turn on a receptor on its cell wall, and all the other ones will turn their receptors off, and this is a receptor to a substance called interleukin-2. Inter means between, leukin means white blood cell. It's a hormone secreted by your helper cells. And what this hormone does is it causes rapid cell division. They divide fast. I mean, your lymph nodes will literally become packed wall to wall with white blood cells. This is why a doctor will feel your lymph nodes, right? If they're swollen, that means that your immune system's trying to fight something off. HIV goes after the helper cells, the one that secretes interleukin-2. So without that, you don't get the rapid cell division. Yeah, I'm sure that just happened to show up in the rainforest somewhere as a freak of nature. No, man. Viruses are nanotechnology. Viruses add genetic sequences. That's what many of your infections that you pass off as a cold here or the flu there, they're actually changing your DNA. Yes. But how do you resist a virus? What's a carrier? You hear about carriers. Well, this person's a carrier. They're not suffering from the symptoms, but they're a carrier. Well, if you're a carrier, that means that your white blood cells obviously didn't consume the virus. They didn't eradicate the body of the virus. Otherwise, what do you carry? Generally, because the virus is just too small. It's too small or intracellular or something. But why aren't you manifesting symptoms of it? If one person gets the warts virus and expresses warts once and then does not express warts again, and another person gets it and keeps expressing them, what's the difference? Well, the one that doesn't express it figured it out. Hey, this is doing all this stuff. Don't read that, basically. And then transmits that information throughout the entire body. Everybody, listen up. This genetic sequence, don't read it. It does this, and this. Ignore it. And see, the thing about a virus, if you don't read it, if you don't follow its instructions, it can't hurt you. Sure.
If we can design particles that essentially act as robots, once we inject them, they are intelligent enough to go to, based on our design, to the location that we want them to, and only go there. So we're essentially integrating all the physical molecular characteristics of drug delivery system that allows them to perform the job that we're designing them to do.
Tiny nano devices are typically controlled by a program on a traditional electronic device like a computer, smartphone, or server, meaning they could be very hackable. Some digital security experts posit that a single nanoparticle in the body with its own processor could be hacked. But they also say that if someone had more than one particle in the body, which many treatments would require, a hacker could theoretically turn them into a network in the body, using the body's own systems to communicate and do their bidding. One of the most obvious and dangerous applications for biomedical hacking is ransomware. If a hacker took over your inner nanotechnology devices, they could demand a ransom with fatal consequences. If you're unable or unwilling to pay, they could easily turn your body against you, and at the very least make you suffer or get sick, if not kill you. It may also be possible for unsavory characters to use nanotechnology itself against their enemies, not only in hacking attacks such as inhalable particulate powders to treat lungs. Some worry this technology could be an easily weaponized delivery method for bioterrorism efforts beyond the hacking dangers. Getting infected with something could be as simple as breathing the air, taking a shower, or getting a regular vaccination from the doctor.
Implant is ready. Ready for incision. Avitine gel foam thrombin.
Yeah, we synchronized it. Line there.
I'll be right there.
Good.
Josh, relax the brace just a little bit here.
Secure it.
DAD is clear. Ready for verification.
Initiate signal code.
Most signal received and locked. Increasing resolution to magnitude 500,
Resolution
1,000, 5,000, 10,000. Host location confirmed to within 0.25 meters of actual.
The singularity evolutionary substrate starts off with RNA, then DNA, then cells, then human evolution, then brains, then digital. What if your brain could be downloaded into a computer? What if your consciousness could be downloaded into a machine like the new Echoes that are out there, where you ask it to turn on your smart TV, it does. You ask it to order you milk, it does. And then your drone shows up on the door 3 hours later from Amazon. How wonderful, how easy, how convenient. Well, what happens if your consciousness can literally be downloaded into these machines, and somebody that doesn't have your best interests at heart gets a hold of your consciousness and downloads it and then takes advantage of it? And what if they decide to make it feel like you're in this box for 1,000 years, when in reality it's 10 seconds, and you can't move, you can't talk, you can't walk, there's no light, there's nothing. They just mess with your sensory perception. Or what if it's like Lawnmower Man, where they throw you into the world mainframes and you have complete control of everything? Welcome to the new world order of possibilities.
And the size? Well, this is then the real. This is a picture made about the device, and this is again my hair. And the size is no, not this, but this size. So we can make tens of thousands of hundreds of those sensors in a millimeter or so. And that now is to be putting together in an apparatus, and that is the idea that we connect it to your mobile phone, and really you can see your breath, if it's kind of a virus inside or not. And for us it's a very important part, but especially for the underdeveloped country, because, well, everyone has their mobile phone and you can make your test yourself. So it's extremely important, I think, developments of an application of nanotechnology. Well, this is an example. If you go to the website, you can see in 2020 what kind of new ideas there are in business about measuring your blood, measuring your breath, measuring everything, almost everything. And we call this, and for sure you know, the Internet of Things. So the Internet of Things says that, well, we can measure everything. You can even measure if the milk is rotten or not. You really everything. But somehow it goes wrong. It goes wrong because if we look into how the energy will develop, then we are just in the beginning of the Internet of everything. So we need energy for everything. The machine learns itself in 4 hours. It's not the one who using the computer. No, the computer itself tries to learn, and that it goes by learning itself, learning processes, etc. I think some are very enthusiastic about it and some doesn't, as you can see on the picture. And we can make use of this artificial intelligence all the time by, for example, looking to your, if you used to do the computer and you're asking who's Einstein, you see some pictures. And so if you see so, if I show you the pictures, and you immediately know who is Einstein. You immediately know all the other people, by the way. But so within a tenth of a second, you knew. A computer goes much faster. In a thousandth of a second, he knows. But he needs more than 100,000 calculations to do so. So, let's say, who's the young guy? Then we have to think about a little bit more. So say 1 second, we know. Again, the computer, 1,000th of a second, 100,000 times more calculation. And that is really the difference. And there's where it stops in near future. We are using too much energy, to use the computer, also with artificial intelligence. We have some very big computers, like here, the IBM. You can use it, you can calculate on it, you can go to the website and you can make some calculation out of it. And really, it's a really strong computer. But the computer can also be replaced by another computer, this one. If you look to the numbers, then the blue gene and the red is almost the same CPU, almost the same memory. By the way, we are around about 1,000 times better. I hope that you... So that's... But if you look into the energy that the power is using, it's 1,000,000 times less. Of course, on the volume. So our brain is much more effective than a computer. So why don't we make a computer that works like our brain? And is it possible? Yes, it is. You can put in, again, the nanoparticles with the molecules, and if they attach to each other, it looks like a little bit on neurons and synapses.